Welcome to Cambridge Neighbor Media Live, a brand new Belive here at CCTV dedicated to exploring deeply each zip code of the city. I'm Julie Adler, and I'm the coordinator of the Neighbor Media program here. And tonight I'm here to introduce you to some of our citizen journalists who make up the Neighbor Media team. And the first person I have here with me is Tony B. Brooks from Area 4.
Hi.
So, Tony B., can you tell me a little bit about what brought you to Neighbor Media in the first place?
I've always been interested in CCTV, and I've always, for about 12 years, I've been being a freelance journalist in Boston, namely Dorchester. So basically, since I take myself wherever I go, I found out about this opportunity after freelancing from time to time for the Cambridge Chronicle. So I found out about the opportunity, and I'm here.
Cool. How long have you lived in Area 4?
Actually just since January, but I love it. I've always wanted to live in that neighborhood, and now I have the opportunity. So a couple of dreams came together. Living in Area 4, being able to be a journalist, getting paid even more so for my passion. So
Cool.
I'm really happy now.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you in the program. And what kind of stories are you interested in covering?
I really like stories about everyday people. I think we are not highlighted as often. So actually, I'm kind of interested in the person who's doing a lot of work but doesn't get that recognition, and they're doing A+ work. And just things that you see every day that you may not think that way about them. Hopefully I can expose information about that. Plus, Hip Hop Nation is not necessarily always represented in the right light. So it would be interesting to find out about Hip Hop Nation and how that's developing in Cambridge and actually in Area 4. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
What exactly do you mean by Hip Hop Nation?
Oh, well, those 35 and under. I just think the 35 and under set, some people closer to 40, they've just been affected by hip hop. We've grown up in the hip hop generation, and it's boomed and taken so many changes over the past 3 decades. So it's interesting to see what my generation is doing, and also how they're politically involved. I went to a meeting last night in Area 4 concerning Windsor Street Health Center, and I saw none of my peers there, and I was very concerned. I'd like to find out why are my peers not coming out to these very interesting events that really affect them thoroughly.
Cool. And since you're interested in journalism, you're not really focused on just your own neighborhood, but you said that you kind of want to explore maybe some of West Cambridge too and other areas like that.
Yes, I'd like to totally come out of my demographic also and interview those people with other stories, with socioeconomic backgrounds that I totally maybe can't even light a fire to. What are you into? What are you involved in? It'd be very interesting to find out what your hobbies and crafts are, what your interests are, what is really making you tick in your communities. So I'm very interested in that too. Totally taking myself out and putting myself into a new situation.
Cool. Well, the great thing about Neighbor Media is that we have people involved from all over Cambridge, but it just so happens that tonight we have a lot of 02139 representation. So we're going to move next to Sharon Stentiford, so come over here. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And we'll see you again soon on a Belive, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And Sharon, actually, you live a couple blocks away from Tony B?
Yes, I do. I live 2 blocks away from her.
Okay, well that's just a coincidence, but but you guys didn't know each other before coming to
we met
orientation
here.
for this program.
Yeah,
And how long have you lived in Area 4, Sharon?
for over 20 years.
Oh, wow. And what kinds of work do you do there?
Well, I take part in small projects. The Area 4 Safety Walk, I was part of the Safety and Beautification Committee, and the Mural Graffiti Project, which turns sites that were previously graffitied into mural sites by the students at the Community Arts Center.
Wow. And you're also a freelance journalist, right?
Yes, I am. I like to write about the projects that I'm involved in. So I've written for the Cambridge Chronicle, and this looked like a great opportunity that you could learn to use a camera, talk to more people, get exposure for the efforts that they're making, efforts that might normally not end up on the TV or in the newspapers.
That's sort of our whole focus with the program, so it's great to have you too.
Thank you.
And I'm going to step aside now because you've brought some guests for us tonight, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you can talk a little bit about who you brought with you.
My guests are Catherine Weicker and Josh Conway, and they were some of the first people involved in the safety walk in Area 4. And could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the beginning?
Well, it started. The idea started after we had a couple break-ins, and we were just kind of frustrated. We'd contacted the police and city council, and what we realized was that we don't really know our neighbors that well. And we wanted to do something proactive about getting to know our neighbors and building a sense of community in Area 4. So in collaboration with Denise Simmons and some other folks and the police department, we built the foundation for an Area 4 safety walk. And we put a lot of work into it so that we think it's really going to be sustainable, which is often a problem with safety walks.
So how long ago did you talk about starting the safety walk?
I think the first conversation we had was in February or March of this year. And we sort of like laid the seeds, laid the groundwork for what we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish. And then we've had a number of meetings with the police department, with our neighbors, and other people who have done similar types of community organization or community activities and organize these kinds of things. So we needed help because we were just a couple of people that lost a car and lost a rearview mirror and were broken into, and we'd never done anything and been a part of any of the organizations that and one of the great things about this is that we've come into contact with so many engaged people that Tony B was talking about a meeting that she went to. Well, we actually met Tony B at a meeting just the other night, another meeting in Cambridge, that we just didn't know these things went on. I think our demographic a lot of times gets so caught up in their own world, whether it's going to school or going to a job, that we don't recognize the sort of things that are kind of going on in our own communities that we're living in. So it's been very eye-opening for us and very exciting.
I hear that you are a Kung Fu teacher in Chinatown and that you volunteer also for the Chinatown Safety Walk. How is the Cambridge Area 4 Safety Walk similar and different from the Chinatown one?
Yeah, that's true. They are different. In fact, I've been doing the Chinatown Crime Watch. I guess I started that earlier this year, about the same time, actually, that we started talking about doing something in Area 4. I wanted to get an idea of how a successful program had been implemented and how it's sustained. And Chinatown has had a neighborhood watch going on for over 2 years now, and I've had a lot of support from their community, a lot of support from the Boston Police Department, and they've done a great job of maintaining a very rigorous organization. And the aims are a little bit different in Chinatown. It's there's a business district that it's very important to have it be safe and have it to be the kind of place that people feel comfortable walking around, people feel comfortable going to the stores and going to the restaurants. And they had been experiencing some problems that was making it not such a hospitable place for people to visit. So they organized this crime watch, and when I say it's different in that we actually do engage individuals directly that are making the place inhospitable. So we ask people to leave. We escort them out of the area. So it's done much closer with the police department. There's always a police detail, certainly on the Friday nights and Saturday nights when there's a lot more going on down there. But Chinatown historically has been sort of a safe haven for people to sell drugs and to solicit other illicit things. Area 4, however, is a very safe place. Comparatively, there's not a lot of crime or violent crime, or certainly there's been issues and things have come up, and situations have occurred over the past few years, and you know, we've had some indirect crime that happened to us in terms of a car being stolen and house being broken into. But a lot of times I don't. I mean, I speak for Catherine and myself. I don't ever feel threatened walking around our neighborhood. I don't feel like my wallet's in danger if I walk down the street at a certain time of night. So the goals in our Area 4 safety walk are different in that we're not out to look for people committing crimes. We're not out to look for somebody who's suspicious. What we're out to look for is other people like ourselves. We want to get to know the people that we live next to, and we want to get to know the streets that our regular paths don't necessarily take us down. So we want to be able to introduce ourselves and say, hi, you know, my name's Josh. I live on this street. How are you doing? And I think on our first walk, we went with one of our neighbors. Her name is Torgan, and I'd never met her before, and so I got to meet someone as we walked around, and we met a couple kids. We helped one kid put his helmet on correctly because he had it turned around, and it was gonna, like, you know, cut off his glasses or take his glasses off if he had hit a bump. And we met some other neighbors that were out gardening. We met some people that were walking their dog, and we got to meet the dog. And we're not dog people, but I know all the dog people know each other, so it was nice. But it just felt like a way to de-atomize ourselves, because we really do operate in our own little worlds, and it's seldom that you have an opportunity for, even in a small neighborhood like Area 4, for worlds to collide. So it's an opportunity for that.
And what sort of people showed up at the safety walks?
Well, to start, we had an inaugural walk in August, and there was a good group of people. Like Josh said, they were very engaged, very diverse group, like all age ranges, all, like there were new residents, and then there were residents like yourself who've been there for, 20 years or more. Right. So it's a good group. And at the inaugural walk in August, the police commissioner was there, City Councilor Denise Simmons, as well as a bunch of the Area 4 police officers who are dedicated to the neighborhood, including Dan Wagner and Sil Ferreira. So it was a strong presence. And since then, groups have been walking just about every night. Basically, we asked for a commitment of going one night a week every 2 weeks. So the different sets of people are walking just about every night. We've got it almost every night of the month covered. And we've been doing that consistently since the inaugural walk in August.
And just to add some precision to the asking for one night every 2 weeks, it's not like an all-night stint where you have to patrol an area of the streets and like cover every block and cover everything between from dusk till dawn. It's really what you can do. If people are out for a half an hour, that's great. If people are out for 2 hours, that's great too. Because we're not patrolling. We're just cruising in the streets. We're going around and checking out different areas.
Yeah.
So.
And at the same time, we're also looking for quality of life issues, because it's not just about crime, but it's also about improving the neighborhood as a whole. So we're asking people to report back to us with things like street lights out, or bush covering a sign, or new graffiti, broken glass, stuff like that. Rats, that's a popular one. Right now they're sending their what they find back to us. They're telling us where they found it and at what time, and then we're aggregating it so that it's useful for the police department and the city to act on. So it's this feedback loop that's supposed to improve the neighborhood as a whole.
And what would you say to people who might want to join the safety walk?
I'd say, come on. Right now,
especially the dog walkers.
Yeah, it's a natural fit for dog walkers, because they're out there anyway. So if you would like to join the Area 4 Safety Walk, I think the best thing to do right now is probably write me an email, and I'll...
and what is your email address?
It's a funny one. It's CAJAWE@yahoo.com. So So that's CAJAWE at Yahoo. And just let me know you heard about it, and then I'll ask you to commit to a day, and then I'll put you on our circulation list and give you the checklist that we've handed out to all the walkers. And we'd love to have you.
Great. Well, thank you both for coming here.
Thanks for
Welcome.
having us,
Thank you.
Sharon. Thanks for walking, too.
Yeah.
My dog loves it.
Great.
Well, thanks, Sharon, and thanks to the Area 4 walkers for joining in on that. It's really great to hear about those sorts of things going on in the community, and that's sort of, like I said before, that's really the idea of Neighbor Media, to get people like you out in Cambridge involved. And we have a website, obviously, at cctvcambridge.org, where we're going to be populating our media map with a lot of different videos and media that our citizen journalists are producing. So you can check that out at cctvcambridge.org/media map, or you can just click on the media map link on the front page of the website. And as the next few months progress, we're going to hopefully be seeing a lot more media, because our journalists are going to be learning how to use our cameras here and use the different facilities that we have for them. And we have 4 more people in our citizen journalists, actually 5 more people in our citizen journalist team. One is from Cambridgeport, 2 are from East Cambridge, 1 is from Fresh Pond, and 1 is from North Cambridge. And they're going to be on Sunday at 8 p.m. and I'm going to be introducing you to them, and they'll be telling you about the sorts of things that they do in their communities. And that's about all that we have for you tonight, so thanks for joining.
I grabbed his purse there. Yeah, kind of hid it away down here.
The pens fell out, but
Oh.
thank you. You guys did great.
Yeah, thank you. You too. It was fun.